Tillie!
Oh, boogies are back, boys.
Oh, that lived with it.
Hey, Pete. What's up?
Oh, morning, Tillie. These trucks are needed at Cliffstone Mountain Quarry urgently, but these little buggers are living up to that name. Ugh, Timothy's waiting to collect them at Baseline Quarry.
Would you like me to take them there for you?
Not too sure. There's still lots of shunting to do here in the yards today.
Please? I'm up for the challenge.
Well, all right, if you're sure. I'll go and get Rosie out while you're gone. Take care with this lot, Tillie. They're not called troublesome trucks for nothing.
Ah, don't worry about me, Pete. I'm always up for a challenge. Hello, Edward.
Hello, Tillie. You need help with those troublesome trucks?
No, thank you, Edward. Nearly there. Nearly there.
All right, boys, our cue. Hold back. Hold back.
Oh, no, you don't.
Goes above the beat. Goes above the beat.
That's better.
That must be... Whoa! Tillie, did those give any trouble to your hole?
No trouble at all, Timothy. They were very well behaved.
Wow! You're a natural at pulling troublesome trucks, Tillie. If only I was as good as you.
Thank you, Timothy.
Now let's get these trucks over to the siding.
Let's go, Thomas can take us there. Let's go on a great adventure today. Here comes Thomas racing down the line. He's really useful, always on time. Every day there's something new. Everyone's got things to do. Let's go, Thomas can take us there. Whistles blow, let's be on our way. Let's go, the weather's so fine, 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 fine. We'll go on a great adventure today. Let's go on a great adventure today.
Far away in the country of Crotoonia, there lives a railway company called the Fantasyland and Fairy Tale Railway Traction Company Limited. There are many engines that live here who run the main lines and branch lines of Crotoonia's railways. One of the smallest engines in the company was a switch engine named Tillie. She moved engines in and out of the sheds, sorted out all the coaches and wagons, and prepared and brought the trains for the big engines to take down the main line. The biggest diesel of the company was Farnsworth. He adored pulling passenger trains over the mountains to the towns, but he loathed any goods train.
Where are my coaches?
Hold your wheels, Farnsworth. They're nearly ready.
Well, hurry up. I can't waste time dealing with silly little engines like you.
What do you mean, silly? I spend my days running these yards while you zoom down the main line with your coaches.
Well, you work with freight cars. I work strictly with passenger coaches. I never touch those dirty things.
Well then, you're a disposable engine then. You won't be ready for emergency trains then.
Disposable? I'll have you know that I'm an indispensable engine. I am needed for passenger work. You're just as important to us big engines as that puny little tender engine from the circus or whatever.
Who are you calling puny?
Watch where you're going along those points!
Well, watch what you say about us smaller engines. We may not be as big as you, but we're just as useful as you overglossed passenger engines.
Oh, I didn't need this today. Good day, sir. I said good day.
Nothing warranted you saying good day that second time.
I don't care.
Morning, sir. Express runs right away?
Sorry, Montana, but Miss Ella had to do some rescheduling this morning. There's a slow goods train waiting at Selgrib Central Yards, and she wanted you to pick it up from all the stations in the Selgrib region, then start work on the express train.
No problem, sir. Be back in a bit.
I wish I could take a train outside of the yards.
Just then, Tillie's friend Thomas arrived. Like a few Krotunians, he often stops by from the island of Sodor, and this morning, he was just bringing a goods train of supplies to his own branch line in Crotoonia.
Good morning, Tillie. How are things in the junction?
Same as always. Everybody's busy with their own jobs while I'm stuck shunting cars and coaches into place.
Don't worry, Tillie. I'm sure you'll get a chance to work outside Colville. I was a shunter like you when I started on Sodor, but once I learned enough and proved I was really useful, I got my own branch line and coaches.
Really?
Really. So don't worry. You work your hardest around here, and I know for a fact that you'll have a bigger job soon enough. Oh, sorry, Tillie. I have to take these supplies to Gradinia now. Have a good day.
I'll try.
Selgreb Central Station is one of the biggest stations on Crotoonia. Every day, passenger trains rattle and roll in and out of the station, hauling coaches of all kinds to and from the other towns and cities. And it was a very busy morning while Gordon was stuck outside the platform doing nothing.
Oh no, not him.
Hello, slow coach. What are you doing sitting around? Don't you usually pull the express?
I know, Farnsworth. I've been placed with another job. I've got to wait for my driver to pick up a schedule before I can set off.
Oh, how quaint. I suppose it's only fitting for a tender...
Don't you start that! Not like you were late by 5 minutes.
Okay, that was not my fault. It was all because of that silly little circus engine. And a goat on the line. And an overheated radiator. Look, the point I'm trying to make is, at least I'm working on...
Farnsworth! Oh, what luck. Can you leave your coaches here and help Gordon take some container wagons later?
But...
Splendid. Head to the goods yard, find some wagons, and be at the Selgrub Bay container docks by 12:30. There's a big load to haul, so we'll need all the help we can get.
What?
You were saying?
Farnsworth, wait! You've forgotten about the passengers for my line! Oh, bonjour! Farnsworth! As Montana pulled in, Callie the rescue shunter rolled up along the other platform. She was delivering emergency supplies to all the stations on the main line.
Morning, Montana! What's up with you? You look like your connecting rods are twisted.
Sorry, Callie. Just waiting around to collect a freight train to bring around the region this morning. I've got a long run across the border today, so I can't be late.
Don't worry about it, Montana. You've been pulling the express for years. You'll catch up with it. Besides, I just heard that Henry and Chatsworth are managing the runs from Selgrab to the mainland for the morning. So you'll be covered until then.
Well, I suppose you're right. Thanks for letting me know, Callie.
Anytime, old-timer.
Attention! Oliver, you're clear for the 9 o'clock local to Selgrab Bay. Oh, and could one of the shunters please bring in Montana's wagons? We have to clear the platform for Thomas's supply train from Krotunian Harbor.
Well, I best be on my way then. The station needs these supplies in case an emergency breaks out.
All right, then. Have a good one, Callie.
Breakdown Krotunian coming through! Woo!
A little while later at Colville Junction, Tillie was feeling upset about Farnsworth's teasing and not being able to pull trains of her own. She wanted to do more than just moving cars and coaches in a single place.
Hey, Tillie! Tillie? Are you okay?
I suppose.
Is there something bothering you?
Sort of. Is it a bad thing to be a switch engine?
Of course not. I used to be one before I joined the rescue team. Why do you ask?
Well, Farnsworth keeps telling me about how I'm just a little switch engine moving real engines around the train yard. He always makes me feel like I've got the lowest job in the yard, while all the other trains get to travel.
But how could they travel without their wagons? Should the big engines move back to collect their wagons, risking hitting the points or colliding into another train? It's your job to keep other engines safe when collecting their trains. And look at the other little engines of our railways. Tracy works as a shunter, but she also pulls the mail. Emma works at the docks and on the seaside branch. And Ivor, boy, he sure keeps a cool head running from the coal mines to the seaside branch and all around Crotoonia. So you see, just because you're not as big as everyone else doesn't mean you can't do more than they can. Your size is what makes you unique.
Really?
I wouldn't say it if I didn't know.
Look out! Runaway milk train!
Oh no!
Clear the way! I'm going in!
Oh, thanks, Tillie. I owe you one.
See? The yards wouldn't be the same without you.
Meanwhile, at Selgrab Bay Harbor, Farnsworth and Gordon were crossly sitting on the container dock, waiting for their flatbeds to be loaded up.
Hurry up, Terex! I need to get out of these good duties as soon as possible.
And my coaches will need to be taken over the mountain soon.
Keep your smoking, you two. I'm working the best I can. here.
Well, you should go faster.
Yes, I agree with Gordon for once. Have me loaded first.
You first? Who made you top engine?
I just want to get back to pulling my coaches so that fine people can enjoy the view, and so that other fine people can sleep comfortably, and so
Oh, dear Farnsworth, don't burn all your fuel telling us what we've heard before.
Well, let's not interrupt him then. Be right back, Gordon. Need to get the last few containers to hook up. There was siding 5 in the shipping company shed they were on. Right, Salty?
Righto, me hearty.
What happened next? Nobody quite knows. Farnsworth said he heard a conductor's whistle, while Gordon said he heard nothing. Either way, Farnsworth started off, and Gordon, wanting to get his work done, followed behind, just as Salty and Ariel came back with the last shipment to go.
What the? Gordon? Farnsworth?
Hi, where are you two off to?
Well, don't just stay there. Go and try and stop them.
Quick, Salty! Go, 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 go!
Hey, watch it, you two! I had the right of way! Get back here!
Look out! Sorry, Emma.
Sorry, Luke!
Elsewhere, Montana was finally making his way back to the junction with a loaded slow goods train when suddenly... Sorry, Montana, but we gotta go back around the loop. We'd forgotten the flatbeds quicker than the other day.
I'm going to beat you, Farnsworth.
no, you won't.
Salty? Why are we stopping?
They be in top speed now, lass! Oh, no way we can get them now!
What should we do?
Not sure. They're used to racing, but I'm not sure if rule breaking's typical.
Hurry back, Salty!
What?
Just hurry back to the harbor, quick! We've got to warn the other engines. If we keep racing like this, there's going to be a crash at the junction.
I'm gonna be late. The border special is gonna be stuck unless I get back in time. What the? Gordon! Farnsworth! Stop!
Jackman to Cali, we've just gotten an emergency report. There's been an accident at Great Blue Forest. Montana's overrun the point, and he's crashed into an embankment. Gordon and Farnsworth are both stuck in a ditch and their cargo is spilled in there. We've had reports of no injuries on site, but help could still be needed. We've ordered a breakdown train to be ready for you. Pick it up and get there as soon as you can.
Got it, Chief. Over and out. I'm the Krotunian Patrol, and I'm ready to roll.
Here it goes, Pete. All 20 cars. All ready for... Oh, dear. What's happening, Callie?
No time to talk. Montana, Gordon, and Farnsworth are all in a mess.
What?
Rattling rivets! What happened to you?
Oh, I was moving along the line, and the signal was clear, but then they came along the next minute, and the signal changed.
You should have known we'd be coming. The signal should have been down for me.
The signal? For you? Ha! I was supposed to pull a fine passenger train over the...
Ha! It's not fine as the express. Why, that train is as precious as...
Quiet! Goodness gracious, you two. You're acting worse than Montana should be. He's worked all morning with the slow freight all around Selgreb, while you two have been breaking safety regulations on the rails all morning.
Crossing the intersection without warning other engines. Racing off from the station when you're not supposed to, and leaving coaches on the platform.
And nearly sending engines straight through the buffers.
Looks like you two will need more than just new paint to look better.
Oh, I'm sorry about the mess, Callie. The signal was cleared, but I guess I should have looked more carefully instead of rushing back down the line.
Nonsense! The accident wasn't your fault. It was silly engines and a dozing signalman that caused the problem. You were simply too late. You've been working really hard from what I've heard. Still, we better try and get you guys back on track. Breakdown Krotunian to the rescue!
Back at Colville Junction, there was a great state of panic. Without Montana, the special express train, the Fairy Tale Arrow, couldn't move anywhere. The manager of the railway company, Miss C. Ella, was on the platform listening to the noise.
Please, Ella, I need to get back over the border by tonight. I kinda miss my connection back to Duckburg.
I'm well aware of that, Scrooge, and we're doing the best we can to get everything under control and on time.
Couldn't you find another engine to pull the train?
But all of the other big engines are scheduled with trains. Everyone except...
How come you can't do it, Casey?
Oh, Tillie, I'm sorry. I'm stuck on back-to-back goods runs to the freight yard. This cargo's important, and so are the loads Cormac's arranging for our depot here. I wish I could help you.
And I've got to go and get slates in the quarry and bring them to Grufflin Harbor. It's an urgent shipment.
Well, I'm sure they'll find someone to pull the train.
And I think I found just the engine for the job.
You have?
Yep, and I'm looking at her and her back engine right now.
Really? Me? Pull the express? Yahoo!
Tillie could hardly contain herself. After waiting for so long, she finally had a big train she could pull outside of the junction.
Thank you, ma'am. We're ready to go now.
Oh, we won't let you down, Miss Ella, will we, Ivor, old boy? Soon, a pair of engines coupled up to the train. They were told that Henry and Sir Reginald would meet them at Selgreb Central and take over from there. The passengers quickly boarded the express coaches bound for Selgreb City and beyond. The baggage van's door banged shut, the drivers brought up steam, the conductor blew his whistle, and the Fairy Tale Arrow left the station.
When your feet are dragging on the ground, stand up and face whatever you're afraid of. When pandemonium is all around, that's when you'll find out what it is you're made of. If you'll just believe it's true, then there's nothing you can't do.
I think we can.
There's not a river you can't make it over. There's no tomorrow that you can't find if you try. I know you're gonna make it. Nothing can stop you now. There's not a mountain that we can't climb. There's not a river we can't make it over. There's no tomorrow that we can't find if we try. We know we're gonna make it. Nothing can stop us now.
Attention! The train approaching on track 3 is the 6 o'clock express to Norfolk.
At last, tired, worn, but triumphant, Tillie and Ivor rolled up to the platform with the heavy coaches.
How late were we?
bubbling boilers! You made it just a minute before the deadline!
Oh, that's one in the headlamp for Farnsworth. Serves him right for calling you silly little engines.
Henry and Sir Reginald soon moved out of the way so that a shunter could couple the fairy tale arrow coaches to their train after the boarding was complete. And Tillie and Ivor left to go and reload their bunkers and water tanks for the return journey back to Colville Junction. A few days later, Sir Alan Featherington, the directing manager for all the Krotunian railways, and Miss Ella rounded up some of the engines and vehicles for a very special announcement.
Ladies, gentlemen, engines, cars, buses, and coaches, we are gathered here today to honor a very special switch engine and her fellow tank engine friend. She has proven to be very brave when she prevented a nasty disaster from happening in this very rail yard, helpful from her work here in the depot, and a dependable go-to engine from her readiness to help a bigger friend in need to take the express for him, with the help of another hard-working friend, of course. Tonight, we would like to thank you, Tillie and Ivor, for your hard work, bravery, and determination here in Colville Junction. Ivor shall receive his own vintage passenger run on the Seaside Railway.
And to you, Tillie, for all that you've done around the junction.
Your very own mail run.
3 cheers for Tillie! So now, even though she still works on shunting in the junction, Tillie has her own special job on the railway, pulling mail cars down all the branch lines on the railways of Crotoonia. She loves working with her friends from the junction like Johnny and the Greendale Rocket, and Tracy from the Dreamfleet Rail Company, and her other friends like Thomas and Casey Jr. always make sure to give a friendly peep when they're on early morning jobs.
Engine number 3 on track 1, you are clear for departure.
And Tillie is very proud of finally having a big job to call her own.
There's not a mountain that we can't climb. There's not a river we can't make it over. There's no tomorrow that we can't find if we try. We know we're gonna make it. Nothing can stop us now. Nothing can stop us now.
Tillie, the little engine, had been working very hard. Ever since her great rescue of the fairy tale arrow, Miss Ella had been assigning her more out-of-the-yard work, which made her very happy indeed. She loves visiting new places and meeting the other engines who help run the railway. One day, Mrs. Ella had an important job for her. We've got some spare parts from the works to go to the mainland and some goods bound for Pinewood Island scheduled for the noon Pinewood goods. I need you to take them to Krotunian Bay so they can be brought to their respective destinations.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
said Tillie excitedly. Krotunian Bay is one of the biggest stations and towns on the Krotunian mainline, and there were lots of friends she knew there, like Skarloey and Rheneas, the narrow-gauge engines, and Piper, the steam-electric shunter. She collected the spare parts from the goods shed, where Farnsworth was getting oiled up from his morning local run. "Well, if it isn't the little switch engine who's off to haul a real engine's train," he said dismissively. "Now, Farnsworth," said Jason, "wasn't it her who took a train you inadvertently caused to derail?" It shut him up instantly. As Tillie backed down on the freight cars, an awkward clanking sound was heard. It was like a pair of exercise weights being bumped together. But outside of the freight cars, nobody else heard it. Tillie soon collected her cars from the goods depot and set off for the junction. But the clanging noise kept ringing out, and the shunters who were fastening cars together in the yard were very worried. As she passed through the cuttings between Colville and Krotunian Bay, the clanking seemed to get louder and louder. Until... clang! One of Tillie's glides got jammed. Now it would be much harder to push her driving wheels along. But Tillie didn't want to stop to let another engine take over. "I shouldn't give up. What will Mrs. Ella say if I told her I'd broken down with a very important train?" So the little engine decided to press on. She passed through a nearby halt where the Greendale rocket was taking on water. As she passed through, there was a small hissing sound that seemed to follow her. "Tillie," called the rocket, "did you fill up with water before heading out with the train?" But it was no use. She was next to the brake van by the time her message was finished. Soon, Tillie reached the busy town of Krotunian Bay. Trucks rattled past on the roadways and overpass, construction cranes whizzed about with their work, and there stood the big hill just before the station. "Whoop whoop," whistled Henry, who was passing through with an express freight. "Mind the hill today. The sea salt's making it a bit rough." Tillie was ready for hills, so she fired off her sandboxes and charged at the hill. The freight cars tried to slip on their brakes, but Tillie was sure to beat them and press on. As she took on the final slope, James hurried up with a small vegetable train from Foston. He heard a nasty hissing sound near Tillie when suddenly, pop, a bolt shot out from one of Tillie's pistons. "Rocketing rivets!" shouted James. "What's gotten into you, Tillie? Don't think I can manage this hill, eh, James?" said Tillie excitedly as she made the final incline. "No, I mean there's something wrong inside of your—" Bang! A huge noise rocketed through the station yard. "What was that?" shouted Station Master Scatterbrain, who'd been in the yards checking over a delivery from the main line. "Robbers? Fireworks? A truck backfiring? I think you'll find it's a breakdown," said a worried James. Tillie had finally made herself run too much. Her conductor clambered into her cab and examined her controls. "Oh, I knew it," she said. "She's clean out of water. Boiler tube explosion seems to be it. You worked yourself hard enough to boil water for the whole town." "Jam pissed and glad too," called a workman. "It's a miracle she made it to the yard safely." Tillie felt horrible. She felt like she had readied herself for the scrap heap. Later that evening, Mrs. Ella visited the Colville Works, where workmen were busily freeing Tillie's glide. Tillie's wheels shuddered a little bit. She feared the absolute worst. But instead of a, "Tillie, what did you do?" or a, "Tillie, why wasn't the job finished right?" she heard a very worried, "Tillie, are you all right?" I think so. I'm really sorry about the train this morning. Oh, never mind the train," said Mrs. Ella. "What matters right now is how you feel." "Well, I do hurt a little bit, but I thought the train was a big priority, so I pressed on." "I appreciate hard work from my engines," she said. "But I also want to make sure that nobody gets hurt. If you sense that something is wrong, you've got to let someone know. That's just using your stack." "Yes, ma'am. I'll be sure to be more careful next time." "And one more thing," Mrs. Ella said, as she exited the works.
Yes?
Asked Tillie. Get yourself a good night's sleep. And after her little trip up the line, Tillie was sure never to push herself too far again. Really useful engines need their brakes too.
But have you seen the Carville shunter around here? The locomotive should be fetching my express coaches for the 11:45 train.
Well, you're looking at him. Hey, Gordon. I'm taking over Puffle's ship while he's taking a goods train down to Groflin Harbor. Besides, someone has to look after another's job.
You do have a point there, but not all things can be easy, like shunting coaches for one's passenger run. For all the express is an important job for an important engine like the very Doncaster you're looking at.
You're one to talk. Anyway, you seem to pique someone's curiosity, Gordon, as I am tempted to know what it feels like to pull such an impressive train full of travelers from all around the world.
And what a fancy train this is, my dear Casey. The Express, an example of elegance on the rails. Miles of the railway's finest coaches racing along the lines with a fine big engine in front. Like me, he pulls like a bullet train on the line, ensuring that the...
Yeah, I know the deal. Expresses are the big fancy trains that only stop at the big important stations. And the locals are the ones that go to all the stations on the line. Blah, blah, blah-de-blah, blah. We're all so happy in the end.
You watch your mouth there. Not to sound repulsive or anything, but I think that a circus locomotive, such as yourself, should be better off pulling a train down the rubbish and recycling yard. Now go and fetch my coaches.
Hey, is that my train seat, Junior?
Yep, all ready to go down to Cellbread City.
Pete, wait!
Hey, what's the matter, Gordon?
You're taking my coaches.
Whoa, wait a minute. If I'm taking your coaches, who's gonna take my cars then?
Casey Jr., why would you go and do that?
You didn't say where to bring your coaches, Gordon. Sayonara.
Oh, the indignity.
Another new day, rain or shine, well I don't mind, I'll never be alone. I've got my friends and in the end, as long as we're together, it's all for one and one for all, as everybody knows. When you're walking in the park and you're lost, it's getting dark, no one seems to be around, we're here to bring your heart. We're all together, that's what friends are for. for everyone. When you're swimming off the beach and the shore is out of reach, never fear, there's someone there to bring you safely back. We're all together, that's what friends are for. All together to open every door, and we go just to put the sunshine in your eyes, 'cause that's what friends are for. That's what friends are for. That's what friends are for. That's what friends are for.
Mighty machines, making mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, lifting and throwing and flying so high, building a building up to the sky. You can watch them all day and never know why they're mighty machines. Hear them roar, watch them soar, sit right down and see. There are stories to enjoy for every girl and boy. Mighty machines, making mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines.
Casey Jr. is a small tender engine who works mixed traffic services on the railways of Crotoonia. He's a smart little engine who knows his way around the railway after working on it for many years. Oh no! Though he is prone to getting into a few scrapes every now and then. One day, he was delivering a train of fuel and coal to the Krotunian yards of the Dreamfleet Railway Company, one of the many railway companies that work the country's railways. Big Old Rusty, Dreamfleet's oldest steam engine, was arriving with a load of empties. He had just delivered a load of slates from the quarry all the way up to the docks in Krotunian Bay.
Hey there, C. Junior. How's things?
Pretty good. Just brought over some stuff for your fuel tanks and coal hoppers.
Oh, now that's a relief. You came right in time. We're just a quarter hopper away from being empty.
Good to hear then. Say, where's Tracy?
Tracy, the little shunting engine that worked the yards, who was usually upbeat and cheery, wasn't feeling very well. She'd overworked herself in the hot sun, and, as a result, had overheated her boiler, which was electrically heated instead of using coal or wood to burn.
Oh, sorry, Tracy, but you'll have to go to the works in Colville for repairs. We just can't let you risk your boiler bursting working with all those cars and coaches.
But sir, who's going to take my mail train? The villagers need to get their packages and letters delivered on schedule.
Casey Jr. rolled up to the workman and Tracy. He had an idea.
Hey, sir! What if I took Tracy's mail train tonight?
You, Casey Jr.? Are you sure?
Sure as sure can be, sir. I just have a goods train to take to the docks at Groflin, so I can work her train later tonight.
Okay, if you're sure. I'll let the mail depot supervisor and Miss Ella know.
The workman called Miss Ella about the plan, which she approved, and the same went for the manager of the mail depot. Casey Jr. took his cars to the harbor and headed back to the sheds for a power nap. Nighttime can be very busy for the few engines who have jobs throughout the night. There's passengers to take home past the station in Norfolk, and freight to go to the factories, towns, and big ships at the harbor. The busiest type of train at night in Crotoonia is the mail train. These trains take special coaches and wagons called mail cars, where the mail is loaded on and sorted en route to their destinations, sometimes traveling by air or road. Casey Jr. was soon at the mail depot, where his wagons and loaded packages were waiting. Edward was also there, helping Johnny with the mainline mail trains.
Evening, Casey.
Evening, Edward. How's things?
Not bad. Mainline traffic's been the same for me. I take it you're taking over for Tracy?
Yep, I'm taking her mail cars all the way down to... where exactly am I taking the mail wagons?
I figured you'd ask that. You're to take all the mail from here to Cliffstone Junction, take care of the mail on the Mountain Branch lines, and drop off your train at Gardenia Bay Station to let the other postal vehicles and the Pinewood Island mail engines complete the last little bit of work.
Sure thing. Drop off to Cliffstone Junction. Mail for the Mountain Branch, final stop at the mountains? You sure that's the right place to take them? Because the branch lines have really narrow lanes and really huge cliffs and are really high up in the river.
Calm down, Casey. You're not frightened of the mountains, are you?
Oh, of course not. I go on them all the time. It's the branch lines I'm worried about. Those rickety rails and tight cliffs make me nervous without a clear view.
Well, imagine it's like the main line, and it should be better. Goodbye, Casey Jr. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
The men moved quickly to ship the parcels, packages, and letters into Casey Jr.'s mail wagons. They were larger than Tracy's usual wagons, so they could fit a little more into them. Finally, the cars were loaded, and Casey Jr. was on his way. Casey Jr. slowly made his way up the line, a little worried about what would come later on. He soon made his first stop at Cliffstone Junction. Porters and workmen hurried to load and unload the mail for the towns near the stations and beyond the station. Then they set off for the first loop line, which ran from the junction, through the mountain, and up to the town of Rotoslopia. Casey Jr. soon made it to the first big slope. The track was rather steep, and there was little elbow room in the cliffs that surrounded it. It was tough to roll up the mountain at first, but Casey Jr. wasn't willing to give up just yet.
Alright, give it everything we've got. Let's go. I think. Come on, let's go. Come on. I know.
At last, after much pulling and much straining, he was finally at the top of the hill.
Finally!
Casey Jr. felt much more confident. He didn't feel like slowing down now, imagining himself along the main line as Edward suggested. If only at the worst possible time. Casey, slow down! You're headed straight for me! Rattling rivets! What happened to you, Glazy Jr.?
Sorry, Pete. I didn't know you were coming down the hill. I was going down so fast. It was hard to see you at the bottom.
First time out with a late night mail run, eh? Well, I can't say it was perfect on me first night run, but I did learn a thing or two from me mistakes. You can't be too confident or too underconfident about working in a new way or with a new job. You just have to go in there and do your best, no matter what. That's what I've learned, at least.
Thanks, Pete.
You're welcome, C. Junior. Right, time to get going.
Pete! Where's that crate going?
Oi! What crate?
Oh, the one on your last flatbed.
I still don't know what you're rattling rivets! That crate's supposed to be at the docks! It's a specially ordered load of paving stones for a customer in the UK! The ship's leaving at sunrise!
Let me take it for you. I'm on my way to the docks anyway.
Oh, thank you, Goisey Jr. You're a real saint.
Soon, Casey Jr.'s conductor loaded the crate onto his first mail coach, and quickly Casey Jr. puffed away to finish up the mail run. The docks the crate was heading to was at Krotunian Bay, at the very end of the Krotunian main line. He knew he had a lot more stops to do, so he put on full steam and got to work as fast as his wheels could let him. He wasted no time getting his other work done. There was some for the manager of Cliffstone Center Quarry, where Speedy, Bill, and Ben worked. A little bit for the manager of the logging camps. A little bit for Rotostopia Junction. A little bit for the steelworks in Bluesburg. A little bit for Boston. A bit for the search and rescue team. A little bit for his home in Colville Junction. Until at last he was at Krotunian Bay Junction. The yards were already booming when he got there, and the Pinewood Island mail train and Johnny were waiting for him, ready to depart.
Hey, C. Junior. Where are you heading to?
Delivery for the dock. Back in a bit.
Okay, see you later.
And after everything was done, Casey Jr. brought the crate over to the docks ready for shipping. He caught it in good time, too. The ship was completing its final loading procedures, and the crane wasted no time getting it on board. Later that morning, Sir Alan Featherington, head of operations on the railways of Crotoonia, sent a message for Big Tim to deliver to Casey Jr. Hey, Casey! Got a message from Sir Alan! You seemed to do a good thing last night, bringing that special delivery back to the docks for Pete and sticking to your mail schedule on record time. So much so, he's taking you with him to an important trip to Boston for the weekend. He'll book you tours, a shed, and everything. Isn't that exciting? Casey, you doing okay, buddy? But he didn't get an answer. He was so tired from all the rushing around that he'd fallen fast asleep.
Somebody get this freaking duck away from me!
Hello, Thomas! How'd your first run of the day go?
Splendid! Right on time, dry rails, and smooth running.
Too much running, you might say. All that speeding up Selgrove Hills has made me feel giddy. Not to mention a speedy ride for the passengers.
Don't worry, I tried to keep my passengers comfortable as much as I can.
Hello again, slow coach. Better hurry if you're going to catch me.
Oh no! Here we go again!
Later, Casey!
See ya, Thomas.
Come on, Thomas. You'll need to go fast if you want to make this best 2 out of 3.
See you at the hills, birdie!
Rats! Why do you always have to rush up here? Your passengers will be cross about this.
What? Excellent! 5 minutes early and 15 minutes till Mimington.
Thank you kindly, Thomas. I'll let you off this time, but don't go playing that kind of stuff with your next train. 'Twas exciting for me, but not so much for the other passengers. Toodaloo!
Right then, Thomas. Up for another race?
Not at the moment. I've got to get back to doing work properly. Maybe another day. Bye, Birdie!
Goodbye then, Thomas. Every so often on the Krotunian railways, engines will be sent to work in unfamiliar places. It was on one of these occasions that Thomas was sent away from his branch line to help with a project up in the hills. There was a new depot being built high on the Cliffstone Mountains. The Krotunian Construction Company had called for a spare shunting engine, being that Brewster, one of the company engines, was having his monthly checkup. The depot was near the village of Cliffstone Valley, which was reached by a steep, narrow line only accessible by smaller engines like Thomas and Tillie. When Thomas arrived at the site, there was a lot of work going on. Buildings needed roofing, track was being laid, and there was a lot of building materials lying around and waiting for further use. Jack, the front loader, and Scoop, the backhoe digger, were shifting dirt and rubble from new foundations when Thomas whistled in.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Jack. And I believe you're Scoop, right?
You got it. Straight from Bobsfield. And Sunflower Valley. And Fixham. And Spring City.
I take it you've been around then.
Me and Bob's team certainly have.
Good morning. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Thomas. I'm Bob.
Oh, wow! Hi! No need for introductions. I've already heard so much about you, Bob. All good things, of course.
Well, I would hope so. You can tell me more later. Right now, we have a big assignment ahead of us.
Oh, yes! What will I be doing?
You will be working with Isabella and Packer to pick up and drop off materials for the site. And the forklift will be loading them up and collect all the spares we send back down.
Sure, no problem. It'll be nice to work with a new friend.
I'm sure Packer feels the same way. Just don't get too dusty or whip up too much smoke, you two. You know how I am about me paint.
Don't worry, Izzy. It's only containers and pipes and things.
How many times have I told you, Packer? It's Isabella, not Izzy.
Oh, what's wrong with Izzy anyway? Isabella's so long. Takes forever to struggle through.
It's undignified. That's what's wrong with it.
Thomas couldn't help but smile. He was glad to know the pack was getting along with their new friends. After a fashion, anyway. They were crating materials for the station, piping materials for plumbing, and supplies like fuel and spare parts of the machines to deliver first.
I found out a long time ago, you gotta learn to say yes when life says no. Don't dwell on the bad times once they're past. That kind of thing can get you nowhere fast. 'Cause there ain't no mountain you can't climb. If you hang on tight, you just make up your mind. Once you set your heart to moving on, son, there ain't no road too long.
he got back, Thomas found a lot more machines working around the
You
yard.
need some cement over here? Don't worry, I'm on it.
Poetry in motion.
He was so fascinated by all the machines and work going on that Thomas started wishing he could do more.
I wish I could help with a bit of the building. Maybe I can. With the help of one of those breakdown cranes, I can definitely transport this load on my own.
Meanwhile, Lofty the Crane was shifting an important roofing section for the station building. The roads were packed while Rolly and Buster the steamrollers were working, so he had to ride along the railway line, which was dangerously close to the edge of the valley. Oh, okay, just a little further on the road and we should be at the site.
Come on, hurry up. I gotta get my axles greased. So do I. I'll be done faster than you. I'm the better build after all. We'll see about that.
Max! Monty! Get back here! The road's not cleared!
Oh, no, you don't.
Okay, nearly at the...
No! Oh!
What happened here?
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to help with the building process, so I thought I'd try to deliver some of these furnishings on my own, and...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that was your job.
Be that as it may, Dizzy, now's not the time for playing the blame game. We need to figure out how to get that load back up.
I got it! We could get Gripper to help. His cable is really long, and he's got a winch.
You're right. Unfortunately, right now, he's helping out at the Krotunian Bay docks.
Oh, bother. Well, now what are we gonna do?
If only we had something long enough to reach out to the end of the valley.
But where would we find that?
I got it!
Got what, Thomas?
An idea! Look, I did something incredibly silly and messed up. I'd like a chance to correct that mistake. So, may I have permission to go off-site?
Sure, but why?
You'll see soon, Bob. I promise. We could build this scaffolding into a jib. We can hook a winch onto it and use it like an old-fashioned pulley crane to get the crate.
That's a brilliant idea, Thomas. Good thinking.
Thanks, Wendy.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get to work. Can we fix it?
Yes, we can! Yeah, I think so. Assembling the contraption was no problem for Bob and Wendy, but bringing it up was another story. With the hoist fitted onto Isabella and Packer, and with the magnet hooked onto Thomas's winch, it would all require teamwork to get the job done. The container was stuck on a very awkward point of the valley. Lofty's magnet made it easy to collect it, but bringing it up would be the ultimate test.
Is everybody ready?
Ready to work.
Time to go to the rescue.
Thomas is ready.
All right then. Let's get this show on the road!
It was a lot harder to pull a container from off the ground than pulling it on a wagon, but Thomas didn't stop. He kept heaving the container up.
I just hope the arm holds.
Wait for it! Now, Isabella! Now!
Well done, all of you!
Woohoo! We did it! Hooray!
Boy, that sure was a heave.
I didn't even get my paintwork dirty. Go figure.
Splendid job, team! And a special thank you to Thomas. You were very creative with figuring out a solution to the problem. I'll be certain to thank your controller for sending over some reinforcements.
But I'm not really all that, am I? I caused this whole mess, and all because I took up a job before asking.
Well, true, but you fixed your mistake and learned from it, I trust?
Oh yes, of course. Next time, I will definitely ask before taking up a job, even if it looks really cool.
Then that's all that matters. At the end of the day, you are a really cognitive tank engine.
That evening, Thomas went back to the sheds to tell his friends all about the day's adventures. What's more, he had learned a valuable lesson in the importance of correcting his mistakes. As Bob and his friends taught him, with a bit of creativity and teamwork, no problem is too big to solve together.
Right then, Luke. What do you want me to do while you guys are gone?
Well, Tracy, I want you to arrange the goods train that Wartime's picking up later today. Can you manage moving the wagons in place?
Of course I can. Why do you think the tower called me to work here?
Because you like to do big jobs?
How did you know?
Well, that's what Humphrey and Roderick told me at your yard.
Oh, I knew that.
Now, we've got to go and pick up a package from the Krotunian goods depot. So, make sure things are done when we come back.
Right, time to get to work. This load's gonna need to be shifted fast. Better get on it. Come on, just move. Please, just move. Come on, please move. Come on, move. Come on, please, just move. Oh, how am I gonna move these wagons? I've handled this kind of work before. That's it! Yes! Let's go get those other wagons.
Wow, Tracy, really good work. You get that whole set in just 10 minutes?
Yep, all that lot was easy. After the first try.
The first try?
I'll tell you in a bit.
We all come from different places, different names and different faces. That's what makes a you and makes a me. Some are big and some are small. It comes out equal after all, when every voice is singing harmony. All together now, that's what makes the world go round. Everybody's got a part to play. That's what friends are all about. Let's make a wish up on a star. We can be happy with who we are, 'cause each of us is special in some way. Living and learning with each other, just like sisters, just like brothers, making the most of every day. Yeah. All together now, that's what makes the world go round. Everybody's got a part to play. That's what friends are all about. Come what may, we'll work it out. All together now. All together now.
Somebody get this freaking duck away from me!
Mighty machines, big mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, lifting a load and flying so high, building a building up to the sky. You can watch them all day and never know why they're mighty machines. Hear them roar, watch them soar, sit right down and see. There are stories to enjoy for every girl and boy. Mighty machines, big and mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines.
One day, the harbor down at Krotoonia Bay was very busy. Lots of ships were sailing in and out of the docks, and there was a big shipment from Europe coming in shortly. The engines working the docks were rushed off their wheels as the cranes loaded cargo onto their flatbeds and freight cars.
Where are these headed out again, dear?
Selgrove City Freight Yard for the gas and refrigerator containers. The rest go to the docks in Selgrove Harbor.
Understood.
How much more coal does this blasted ship need?
About 6 more wagons. They're parked by the supplier's yard.
The ship just radioed in to say it's coming into the coast. I'm going out to bring it in. I'll fetch the other tugs to help.
Thanks, 10 cents.
It soon became apparent that other engines were needed at the docks, since there was too much for the harbor yard engines to do on their own.
Morning, Pepper Pete. Hi, Edward.
Morning, Lazy!
It's Tracy, Pete. Tracy.
Oh, that's what I said, didn't I? Anyway, where are you off to this morning?
Some mail got misdelivered?
Nope. I'm heading off to the docks.
The docks? That's a busy place for you to work at.
Yeah, but I've worked there before, so I can take care of myself there.
Hope it all goes well then.
Good luck, youngster. Just mind the bigger work you're given.
I will.
Tracy made record time getting to the harbor. She couldn't wait to start work by the beautiful seaside. When she got there, 10 Cents and some other tugs had managed to get the ship into the port. It was huge, heavily loaded with goods, and ready for unloading and reloading. Tracy was rushing towards Emma and the ship, ready to double-check what her jobs were, when...
Watch where you're going, you dinky little engine!
Important engines with more important freight coming through.
Oh no, not Cerberus and Diesel 10. What are they doing here?
They've come to help out with the heavy goods.
What? Them? Why couldn't you get someone like the haulers at the Grothlin docks?
They're really busy too. We didn't have a lot of engines free today with all the deliveries coming in, so we've had to work with all we've got.
Well, I suppose that's understandable. So, what do you want me to do today? Shunting big trains on the main dock again?
Sorry, Tracy, not this time. I need you to help Trix and Skip at the supplier's yard. They've got a lot of deliveries and materials to get out, so they need someone to help sort out the trains.
Okay, who's Trix and Skip?
You'll find out. They're a nice couple of machines.
Emma was right. Trix and Skip are as nice as they are hard-working. Trix the forklift zips about the yard loading cargo for the trains and trucks that come to the dock, while Skip takes garbage from the building sites and yards down to the dump. Whenever he's paying attention, that is.
Rattling rods! Look at all this stuff! Oh, you must be Trix and Skip.
We certainly are. And you've got to be... Oh! Ouch! Tracy!
Indeed I am. So, what do I have to shift?
Oh, well, for a start, you can shove those bricks and lumber together. They're going up to Prillam for the new townhouses.
And then you can get those empties to Cranky so we can load up the special Stepho stuff that just arrived for the mainland.
I'm on it. I'll get it done in no time. Flat.
Down by the docks, that's the place to be. Down by the docks, the gateway to the sea. Down by the dockside, we are the team, working together, just like family. Down by the docks, you're never on your own. Down by the docks, it's really home from home. Down by the dockside, down by the dockside, down by the dockside, it's where we want to be. Down by the docks, it's where we want to be.
Later that afternoon, Diesel 10 and Cerberus were just heading out to the Grotoonia Bay goods depot with a long line of cars when Diesel crossly rolled alongside. And where do you think you two are going?
Another load of crummy wagons. What's so bad about that?
We've got a load coming in from on those narrow gauges at the junction, and one of you has to take it.
Don't see why it has to be us. We've been hauling all morning.
I know someone who would.
Hey, Diesel! What's up?
Dockmaster Noisy just said you've got a special to pick up from the junction.
Really? A special?
Oh yes, some goods from the hills going down here. They need those wagons urgently.
Wow, that's something for a little engine like me.
Tracy, are you sure we should do that? And from orders from Debrius Diesel?
Hey, 10 cents! That delivery from the junction here yet?
Not yet, Dockmaster. Should be here soon, though.
Well, what do you... Oh, no!
Tracy had wasted no time getting to the junction. The cars were already waiting for her, freshly loaded up with heavy goods.
I got these buffers buffed.
Now, Tracy was not inexperienced at pulling goods trains, but she'd never really hauled goods trains this heavy before, and usually the goods trains were kept to the flatter parts of the railway. And she was finding out very quickly that they were a lot harder to control than she thought.
Are you guys sure she's pulled a heavy goods before? Cause it's not looking like that to me.
Yeah, I'm getting vibes she's an amateur.
My buffer feels like a cut of switch. Got it.
Why is she giving her the right of way? We got the right of way. Good grief.
Hey, like, guys, I got an idea, so hear me out. Why don't we, like, push you down the big hill a little bit? You know, not like in a mean way, just kind of like, you know, hey, teach you for next time kind of way. Not supposed to be hard or anything.
Do you really want to do this right now?
I mean, if it makes you guys happy, I'm having a fun ride back here. You know what, Joe? I don't always agree with you, but let's do this. Everyone in favor, clank. Good, let's do it. We'll talk about good timing, because here it comes now.
So is this going to be like an easy push on her? Because I'm not sure what the plan is here right now.
Right. Only about a mile more and we'll be... what the... come on! Slow down!
I don't think so!
Tracy tried to apply her brakes, but it was too late. The cars were pushing her faster and faster down the line, and not even the brake van could help.
Help! Look out! Runaway train!
Oh, goodness!
The out-of-control Tracy and her cars were sent speeding along through the docks and down the line towards the old wooden pier.
So, Joe, did you forget about the giant pin we're about to crash off of?
I didn't know it was there. I thought we were going to lose the buses or something. Luckily, 10 Cents had been docking a sand barge near the pier and had set it up to make a makeshift arrestor bed when he saw her coming down.
Oh, thanks, 10 cents. I owe you one.
No problem, mate. I'll go and fetch a crane. Then you can get some of that sand out of your valves.
Because the tide was too low to lift her out, Tracy had to sit in the barge for some time. A little bit happened while she waited. Cars were delivered. Engines were found out and punished. And ships shouted, "Anchors away!" But even as Bonavista finally arrived to lift her out of the barge, Tracy still felt ashamed for causing an accident by jumping into a situation she wasn't prepared for. As the workmen got ready to lift Tracy out from the barge, Emma, Trick, Skip, and Luke all came to help out any way they could.
Engine secured. Bring her up, boys.
Now, don't be hard on yourself, kid. It wasn't all your fault. Those three were looking for an easy way out of a situation, and you got tricked into it. From what I heard from these two, you were a big help.
Yeah, you were a huge help getting all the deliveries out today.
Even if you got a little sandy.
Thanks, guys. And I learned something else, too.
Well, what's that?
10 cents to trap for the baseball team with his catching skills.
Oh, I get it! Because he got you in sand!